Hello and welcome back to our channel. My name is Femke from Fame to the Fiction on Instagram and Bookish Buddies over on Twitter. And today I am here with a book haul. Okay, so I realize you can't see this, but this stack, it's literally on the floor. This is like on the floor and it's taller than I am. And I am terrified it's going to fall over, so I'm just going to start showing you which books I got and hope it makes it through the video. So the books in this video all came from a variety of different sources. I'll obviously tell you for each book where I got it from, but I won't talk too much about what the synopsis and everything is because tall stack. Okay, so let's go. Books on this list are not in any particular order, except smallest book to biggest book, because otherwise the stack wouldn't even stack properly. So the first book on this list is Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri, and this is the sequel to Empire of Sand. I got this book for my birthday from Esmay, Marta, Amber, Yadina and Jessie. I still haven't read the first one, but I'm really excited to, dive into this duology. The next book on this list is Archangel's War by Nalini Singh, which is the 13th? 14th? 12th? I don't know. Past number 10. In the Guild Hunter series, I believe this was actually supposed to be the conclusion to the series, but there are going to be 2 or 3 more books in the series. I'm not sure whether those will also revolve around the 2 main characters of the book or whether it will be about side characters. But anyway, this is a book that I'd wanted to get for almost a year, and I also got this for my birthday by Esmay and friends, so really happy to have this. Then the next 2 books are A Fever of the Blood and Mask of Shadows by Oscar de Muriel. These are parts 2 and 3 of the Frey and McGray detective series, murder mysteries. I recently read the first one and I really enjoyed these. The first one I purchased in a bookstore in Rotterdam, and the third one I got for my birthday as well from Esmay and friends. So the next 3 books actually are The Fifth Season, The Obelisk Gate and The Stone Sky, all by N.K. Jemisin. Now I got all 3 of these from someone. The first one, The Fifth Season, I got from Lauren at Me, My Books and Food over on YouTube, so thank you so much, Lauren. I am so excited to finally be reading the series. It's been on my TBR forever, but I just never had the physical copies, so I'm really excited to finally have the entire trilogy. The second book I was gifted by Sandra on Facebook in the Theillumicrate Club. So Sandra, if you see this, thank you so much for gifting me this book. Again, I am so excited to be reading these, and now that I have all of them, I can't wait to dive in. And the final book, I don't have the note anymore, or maybe this one didn't have a note, but I think this was gifted to me by Evelyn. So Evelyn, if you see this, thank you so much for gifting me the conclusion to the trilogy. It was one of the books that I wanted to purchase next, so I'm really happy to have it. The next book on this list is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is just a regular paperback edition, and I got this because it's so hyped on Facebook and Twitter and BookTube. And I believe this is enemies to lovers, so this is my favorite trope ever, so I am super excited to get into this. Plus it's really quite big, so I have high hopes for that. Okay, so from this point onwards, it's only going to be hardbacks, so let's continue. So the next book is Raybearer by Jordan... Woo! I touched it. Don't fall. Stay. Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. This is the Fairyloot edition, which means that it is an exclusive hardback with this cover. I'm not sure you can see it, but it has exclusive foiling. It has stencil sprayed edges. I've only heard good things about this book. and I'm really happy to have a beautiful edition of it as well. And like, I know that for every book I say that I'm excited to have it, but it's the truth. I'm excited to have all these books. I'm a book hoarder, I am a book dragon, I collect books and it's my ultimate treasure. So I'm just going to keep saying it for every book. So the next book on this list is Fable by Adrienne Young in the exclusive Theillumicrate edition, which means that it has an exclusive cover, it has shimmery sprayed edges, and it is signed by Adrienne. So I have to admit I haven't read anything by Adrienne Young yet, although I do have Sky in the Deep and The Girl the Sea Gave Back. But Esmay's read, I think, both of them, and I think she quite enjoyed them. So I'm really excited to, you know, start reading Adrienne's books soon-ish, because we also know that when I say soon, I mean like maybe in the next year. So who knows. So up next we have 4 different editions of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab. And the first one, well, it's not a special edition, but it's just the regular UK hardback. Unfortunately, it's not a first printing, so it does not have the blue sprayed edges, but it does have the exclusive hidden cover, so I'm excited to have that. So The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is my singular most anticipated release of the year, but I am just terrified to start it. So the next one is the Theillumicrate special edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which has a black and grey cover instead of blue and orange. It has like steel sprayed edges, has exclusive end papers, has exclusive hidden cover design, and it is also signed by Victoria. The next one is the Waterstones exclusive edition, which has a black and gold cover, gold sprayed edges, exclusive end papers, and exclusive hidden cover. Also signed, the last one for now, because there is another one in here, but it's, I don't know, down there somewhere, is the Forbidden Planet exclusive edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which has a black and blue cover. It has blue sprayed edges. It has the standard end papers. It is signed, and again, it has an exclusive hidden cover. Next, we have Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim, which is the sequel to Spin the Dawn, which was one of my favorite books of this past year. So this edition in itself is nothing special, but I do have the pre-order goodies, which means that it has a signed book plate. But yeah, I mean, Esmay's probably going to bug me to read this when she sees this, and I am planning on doing that relatively soon, but again, we all know that when I say soon, it's maybe in the next 6 months. Then the next book is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones, which is in the exclusive Owlcrate edition, which means that it has a white cover instead of a black cover, and that it is signed, which you can't really see probably. So I saw someone talking about this book and I was immediately intrigued, and then someone was selling this edition, so I got it. But again, I haven't read it yet, but I do hope to do that soon. Then the next book on this list is Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin in the exclusive Theillumicrate edition, which has like steel grey sprayed edges, and it is signed by Shelby, and in addition it has artwork on the reverse of the cover as well. Serpent and Dove was one of my favorite books of this year. I read it back in February in the airplane when I got back from South Africa. I read it in one go, well, 2 goes, since I had a split hour flight. But I'm really excited to read this. I haven't heard the most positive of things about this, but I'm going to see for myself, obviously. Up next we have Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar in the exclusive Theillumicrate edition, which has shimmery gold sprayed edges, and it has Shweta's signature, and it has exclusive art on the reverse of the dust jacket as well. So this is one of the books that I'm curious about it, but I'm also a bit hesitant about it because apparently this is a contemporary fantasy, which is just a really weird term to me, but obviously I'll read it and I'll see what I think of it, but the edition itself is beautiful. Then the next book is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, which was one of the debut box books for Theillumicrate. So this is mostly a regular edition, except that it has a signed book plate. I have heard nothing but good things about this book, so that immediately makes me excited to read it as well. Then the next two books are Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth, both in the exclusive Theillumicrate editions. I purchased Harrow the Ninth back in August, I think, and then I had to hunt down a secondhand copy of Gideon the Ninth, but I managed to do that. Again, I really haven't heard anything but good things about these books, plus these covers I think are spectacular, so I'm excited to read these. The next book on the stack is Ghostwood Song by Erica Waters, and this was an Amazon gift from also Sandra, but a different Sandra from the one I thanked earlier. This cover intrigues me so much, and I'm so curious to see whether I like this book, but most of all, it's just I love the cover. So Sandra, if you see this, thank you so much for gifting me this book. And again, I am super excited to read this. The next book on this list is Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. This is the Fairy Loot edition. Just an exclusive cover. Instead of yellow lettering, it has green lettering. It was signed by Lori, and this has a glorious artwork on the reverse of the dust jacket, plus it has exclusive embossing. The next book is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. So this is not any special edition, this is just a regular edition which I got for the Tropical Readathon back in August. I enjoyed this book. I didn't love it, it wasn't my favorite, but I am glad to have read it. So I believe you can hardly see the stack anymore, but still it's about waist high for me. So let's continue on. The next book on the list is the Fairy Loot edition of A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, which has sprayed edges as well as a signed bookplate. Again, this is one of those books that I have heard nothing but good things about, and I am super excited to be reading this, plus the cover is absolutely gorgeous. The next book is the Fairy Loot edition of Shielded by Kaylin Flanders. This has a green cover instead of a blue one. It has black sprayed edges and it is signed by Kaylin. So I feel like somehow this is going to be one of those Fairy Loot books which are going to take me a really long time to actually get to. I hope that's not the case, but I fear that's going to be the case. And not for any particular reason, but just I feel like there's always going to be books that I want to read more, if you know what I mean. Then the next book on this list is Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. This was another birthday gift from Esmay and Friends, and this is on my priority TBR, which I haven't shared, but I essentially picked one book from every single shelf, so I have a stack of 25 books which I want to read first, and this is on there, so I'm assuming I will get to this pretty quickly. Then the next book on this list is Criers War by Nina Varela. This was definitely like a cover buy, except I didn't buy it. It was another birthday gift, but this was definitely one that I put on the wish list because of the cover. I genuinely have no idea what this is about, but the cover is beautiful and that is all I need to know. Then up next we have The Beautiful in the Fairy Loot edition, which means it has lavender sprayed edges and that it is signed by Renee. This is one of my favorite covers ever, I think, but unfortunately I didn't love the book. I was actually left quite disappointed by it. If you want to see my thoughts on it, you should go watch my most disappointing books video, which is coming up soon, but yeah, unfortunately I didn't love it. The next book is The Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. This is actually a combination of two different editions. We have the exclusive dust jacket by Theillumicrate, and then the book itself is the exclusive signed edition for Waterstones. So I just switched the dust jackets essentially to get this beautiful signed edition. Then we have the Waterstones edition of How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories, and this has an exclusive black cover, embossing as well. Even though I didn't love the other books, I feel like this is going to be one of those books that I'll read pretty soon, and that's mostly because it's not that big. Then up next, please pray for me that I don't drop these, are the Fairy Loot editions of The City of Brass, The Kingdom of Copper, and The Empire of Gold. Let me just put some of these down again. So these all have stencil sprayed edges in a different color. These were all signed by Shannon, and these all have artwork on the reverse of the dust jacket. This is the artwork for the first book. So like I said, different color sprayed edges. This is the artwork for the second book, and finally the artwork for the third book. The next book on this stack is The Betrayals by Bridget Collins in the Waterstones edition, which means that it has exclusive sprayed edges. It is signed by Bridget and it has beautiful embossing on the naked cover. I just finished the binding like last week or the week before, and it wasn't quite what I expected. I liked it, but it also left me a little bit disappointed, but I'm really curious to see what this is going to be about. The next book is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This was another book that I got for my birthday by Esmay and friends. And again, this is totally like a cover gift, because I honestly don't really know what it is about, except that I have heard a lot of great things about this book. The next one is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This was one of my favorite books of the year. I absolutely love the cover. This is what intrigued me to actually buy it. And I was really surprised by what the story actually was. Like I said, it was a cover buy. I didn't read any blurbs. So I only have good things to say about this book, and you should buy it too. Next, we have the fifth book in the 6 Tudor Queen series. This one is about Catherine Howard by Alison Weir. This is signed by Alison, and honestly I still have to read these books, but even if I don't like them, these are gorgeous. The next book on this list is The Boneshard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. This was the other debut box for Theillumicrate. So this has a, oops, I haven't stuck it in yet, signed bookplate as well. I am really curious about this book. It's beautiful and it's been on my TBR for quite a long time, so even before it came out. This is another one that I really hope I'll be getting to soon. Then up next we have the final edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is the Owlcrate edition. This is a naked cover edition which has rose gold lettering instead of gold. It has an exclusive art on the back, and it was signed by Victoria as well. So the next one is, or two actually, is the box set of Uprooted and Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik from Theillumicrate. These are, like I said, these are reprints of the original. It has a beautiful, sturdy box to go along with it, and it has exclusive foiling, which I'm not sure you can see on the cover. I've always wanted these covers, to be honest, and it also has sprayed edges, even if you can't really see it because there's gold and silver. So yeah, I've always wanted these specific editions, and these were obviously hard to get, as these were the original UK hardbacks, and UK hardbacks go out of print after a little time, so I'm excited to finally have these. The next book is A Deadly Education, also by Naomi Novik and also by Theillumicrate. This has an exclusive yellow cover and blue sprayed edges, and it has the author letter bound into the book. There's been some criticism on these books, which have basically caused me to not want to read it just yet. I will read it and I will make up my own mind about it, but I do think it's good to know about these criticisms. Then the next book on this list is Kingdom of the Wicked in the Fairy Loot edition. This has gorgeous stencil sprayed edges. It has an exclusive pink cover, and it was signed, or it has a signed bookplate by Carrie. This also has exclusive embossing on the cover, and it has exclusive artwork on the reverse of the dust jacket. So this is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, so I'm excited to have such a gorgeous edition of the book. I have another edition coming, which has the pre-order goodies, but Esmay will be getting that edition. The next book is Seven Devils by Elizabeth May and Laura Lamb. This is the Theillumicrate edition, which has a purple cover instead of a blue one, and it has sprayed edges. So Sari from Wow I Read has been raving about this book, which is essentially the most important reason I even got this book. This is also on my priority TBR, even though like I said, I'll probably just get to this somewhere in the next 6 months or so. And then we are nearly through, I swear to you, we are nearly there. The next one is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern in the Waterstones edition, which has exclusive stencil sprayed edges, and this has the pink cover. Now, I initially didn't buy this because Esmay didn't like the Night Circus, but I have to say this book is so pretty that I wanted to get it regardless, so I did. Then we have The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson in the exclusive Theillumicrate edition, which has an exclusive cover, sprayed edges, and it has a regular signature. So initially, I actually just got this because I wanted the October book for Theillumicrate, and I managed to sign up in August, so yeah. But the premise of this book is really interesting, so again, I hope to be getting to this quite soon. And then finally, I mean, there are 3 books, but it's one trilogy. We've gotten to the end of the book haul, and the last books on this list are the Theillumicrate Archives edition of The Puppy War, The Dragon Republic, The Burning God. So these all have printed edges. They have exclusive foiling on the covers. These are signed by Rebecca, exclusive hidden covers, and exclusive reverse dust jacket art. So this is the art for the Dragon Republic and the art on the reverse of the dust jacket. And finally for the Burning God, jacket art. Okay, so that was a long video. I'm just really glad the stack isn't, you know, next to me anymore, just nearly falling over. So if you managed to watch the entire video, I just want to say thank you. If you have any of the books on this list, please leave a comment down below. If you've read any of the books, leave a comment down below. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button if you want. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!